they're utilizing quality material in the studio.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Betamax. My name is Fidel. Joining me is Eddie and Jose.
Yay!
Yeah. How you guys been? I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. I know. I see it. It feels like it was forever.
Dang. So how do you feel about me making you an honorary host?
It's cool. I appreciate it.
You're fired.
No, I mean, like, I like doing this stuff. I like to express myself. And it's normally like through like music. But I've always had, an interest in podcasts. I like that medium. Mm-hmm. And I've always tossed the idea around of doing something like that myself. So being able to kind of pop in here with you guys and do it like that with you is cool because, I mean, this is the one that, I listen to the most, so it's cool to be a part of it like that, So I appreciate it, it's fun. I like doing it. Plus we get to hang out, you know, and that's awesome, All
right. So what's the name of the movie you went to go see?
War of the Rohirrim. It's a Lord of the Rings, like not like a spinoff, but like just like an installment of, the greater legendarium stories. Yeah. But one story in particular. So,
does it take place like before, after the main trilogy? Or?
So, to preface, you're familiar with like Rohan, right? Like King Theoden, like the Riders of Rohan, like the how they rode into the Pelennor Fields, like the famous, death, and they charge. Yeah. So it's about the like ancestor to King Theoden, a Helm Hammerhand. And it takes place like many generations before. So for instance, when you look at like the set pieces that they have created for this movie, like the way the Edoras looked, it's exactly the same as you're familiar with it in the Lord of the Rings films. So it's very consistent with the world that you're familiar with visually, So, but it looks, since it takes place before, like it looks a little different in a way. So, but you also tell because I mean, like the village gets like sacked, and obviously things are going to change from there.
It's an anime?
It's an anime.
Okay. So what do you can you compare the visuals to?
So it's done by the dude who did like Akira, Ghost in a Shell.
Oh shit.
I can't remember one of the other ones, like maybe like Kiki's Delivery Service type. It involved in a lot of the ones that we're familiar with. Okay. So it's cool. I liked it in the sense of visually, like the way that some of it was rendered. A lot of people who are into anime, I can see them like maybe having things that they can nitpick at animation wise, because there's points in time where like slow motion-y type effects or like 360 like type animations.
Okay, so it's not like your typical anime that...
No, they did a lot of different things. So like think about like the environment that they're in looks like a 3D animated rendering. But then like the characters themselves are kind of like 2D in comparison laid over that. I can maybe see some people not caring much for that, but for someone who's not as familiar with anime or like appreciates it like fanatics are, I thought it was cool. Like, I thought it was a cool look. I liked that it was aspects of, like I was saying, like the 360 elements of like someone riding a horse or slow motion like action shots. Like there wasn't enough frames to make it look smooth, which I thought was kind of cool. It kind of reminded me of like the Ralph Bakshi animated ones that they've done for Lord of the Rings, where it's just kind of raw in a way,
choppy.
And I kind of liked that, you know. But I think it's a cool movie for people who are familiar with the movies and don't really have reference to like the Legendarium, because it's going to be like easier for you to kind of follow visually, and because it revisits like Helm's Deep before it was considered Helm's Deep. So
Is Peter Jackson tied to it at all? Or no.
yeah, it's like he was like an executive producer.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's done by like all the same like people. So Philip O'Boyan and her daughter were like the main writers, and I know like John Howe and Alan Lee, which were the dudes who were like the concept artists. Like they're the artists for the original films, but they were brought into those films because they were the ones who did all of the artwork for like the books, some of the books. Joseph's trying to FaceTime me right now. Sorry, dude. So
He's like, nah.
Just answer it. Fine, that's fine.
yeah, let's see. Well, let me.
This would have been perfect for
Well,
the
let
other
me slide
episode.
Damn.
What's up, homie?
So,
We're in the middle of recording, dude.
What's up?
Are you good?
do you guys just start?
Kind of.
Well, me and mommy were asking when are you gonna get home?
Damn.
A little bit later. Cool. Can I talk to you later? Bro,
But
no.
where are you?
I'm at Fidel's house.
Are you by Riverside?
I am in Riverside, dude.
Which one's Fidel?
Damn. What's up, homie? Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, buddy. I'm going to go now, okay?
Who's the one sitting on a couch?
That's Eddie.
What's up, Joseph?
All right. I'm going to go now, okay?
Okay,
All right. I'll see you later, buddy. I love you.
bye.
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 Damn, which one's Fidel? That's what's up.
I know.
I'm used to hearing stuff like that.
Is he the tree?
But I forgot where I was at. But yeah, if you it's for someone who's like just familiar with the films, I can see them like enjoying it more so than the people who are also more familiar with like stories from like Silmarillion. People who are specifically very familiar with like this particular story of like Helm Hammerhand and the siege on the Hornburg as a result of the antagonist's vengeance. So some things were changed or like they took some creative liberties. Like for instance, like in the story, do you remember in the movies when Saruman was convincing like a group of dudes to go attack Rohan, and then they were like setting it on fire, like sacking the villages, and then that's when that mom was like, "Here, take your sister and go ride and escape."
Yeah.
Those like that faction of men are called the Dunlendings, and they have a long history of having like a tumultuous relationship with the men of Rohan. So one of those leaders like approaches Helm Hammerhand and proposes that his son and Helm's daughter become married, and he declines. They get into like an altercation, and then during that fight, he hits him, and he ends up dying, and the son seeks vengeance and like just goes completely berserk.
Yeah.
So the story is like, so in what's written, they do mention the daughter because she's like that reason why that dude shows up, but she's not named, so she has no story. So in this movie, she ends up being like the center of the tale, and they give her a name, and they give her her own like story arc. which is cool. I think is cool because, like, if there's nothing specifically written about this character and their story, then there's a lot you can do with this character, you know? And I thought it was cool. So a lot of the same people are involved, like the girl who plays Eowyn, the one that makes the stew that sucks.
Yeah.
Like she's the narrator.
Oh, okay.
And she mentions like some stories aren't written. This is one of them. So, and it's kind of told from her perspective.
Do you think it being an animation, do you think that like amplified anything in any way?
I think you can get away with more. Like, for instance, like some of the goofy like CGI action shit that they did like in The Hobbit that, you know, like
It was a little overdone.
where you're just like, you know,
Yeah.
you can get away with it better like with animation because it's animated, you know.
Yeah.
So like
You could do way
define
more
the
over
laws
the
of
top.
gravity,
Yeah.
things like that, you know, it's forgivable, right? In my opinion, because it had like a 2 hour and like 10-minute runtime, I do think that they could have like trimmed some of the fat.
Cut it down.
There was some instances of like fan service, you know, that I felt like, you know, didn't need to be there, you know. And maybe like expand upon different aspects of different characters because it jumps right into it. So like for those who are familiar with the story, like
You already
like
know.
there's nothing that you have to catch up on. But for those who aren't familiar with it and they're getting exposed to this because all they know is the original like trilogy, like they're learning, you know. So if they were to go, I look in the perspective of like if they were to go back and then read about this themselves, like this, her name's Hera, the daughter, like they can fill in the gaps that are in the story because of her not having one. They can fill that with this, you know. So which I think is cool, you know. You know, I wouldn't consider it something that maybe I'd like just go right out and watch it again, you know. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed it. You know, I'd like to see them do more.
Would you revisit it at some point?
Yeah, just to kind of like, you know, maybe see things in it like again that I maybe didn't catch, or you know, redefine some of like the stuff that like like there's a lot of like dialogue parts in there that I thought were like really like
Drag down a little.
clunky, you know, like kind of like it's like that was kind of like cheap, you know. But overall, I thought it was enjoyable. I know that it's going to like streaming platforms like soon.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so like it didn't do well. Like when I went to the theater, there was like no one in there. You know,
It's weird because like as popular as Lord of the Rings is, like I feel like it's still a very like niche crowd.
yeah,
And especially if you make it into anime, like you're kind of alienating even more people that way. So I feel like it is like I mean, I haven't seen it, but like just off the top of my head, I feel like it is like a very selected crowd that's gonna be watching this.
yeah. I mean, I just love Lord of the Rings. So for me, it was just another opportunity to engage in that interest of mine, you know, and the fact that it's consistent, like visually, like with what what I was made familiar with,
Yeah.
that got me interested in this in the first place, which was the movies. Like
Yeah.
I was satisfied with that, you know. Like I said, I didn't hate it, you know. I don't dislike it, you know, but I also don't like love it, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I were to rank all the movies, like this is kind of low, you know, if I'm being honest, like, in my opinion, you know.
Do you think it's like easily accessible, like if for any age or?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like in retrospect, I didn't take Joseph just because like I didn't think that he would be able to like sit through like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
But I think he would like it only because it's up his alley, and two, like there's like the majority of the film is the siege of the Hornburg, so which is Helm's Deep, right? So that would keep him engaged, I think, because it's pretty action packed. You know,
Yeah.
there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
For just it being focused on this one particular story.
Yeah. I know when I first saw the Lord of the Rings movies, I was really young. I don't remember what year they came out, but I didn't care about the dialogue. Like, they didn't come until like later that I was like super engaged in like the character development. Like when you're a kid, you're just like, I just want to see people like get killed and
Yeah.
pick battles and stuff, you know?
Well, yeah, and plus, like, dude, like, they're orcs, so like
Yeah.
they did not like shy away from having it be super gruesome,
Violent, yeah.
which is dope because I'm one of my favorite part about playing the video games is how fucking gnarly like it is with when you battle these orcs, like with the way that you can just they have a move called there's assassinate, which is like a stealth thing, and they have brutalize, you know,
Shit.
and just let your imagination wander out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's tight, you know, and the movies were a good example of that, you know. There's no like orcs like that in this movie. So like you didn't have, there was no elves, you know? So like it's very specific. I think, and I thought that was cool because at the very least, in my opinion, what it can open up to is potential for like other stories. So like in my mind, right? There's so much you can do with something that you know that exists per Tolkien, but doesn't have any expansion on that. So that you can, that's when you can take your creative liberties, right? So in my opinion, like we know through the story, like one of the Nazgul is like a dude named Kamul, who was like a leader or a king or something like that, like from the Easterlings, which are those humans that ended up helping Sauron in the films, right? Like utilizing like the story of him getting the ring and then watching the ring possess him and decay him into like a ring wraith. I thought, you know, it opens up the potential for something like that, you know? So there's a lot to appreciate about this movie, you know, without getting like too nitpicky with it.
Yeah.
I thought the music was great. It's not Howard Shore, but like the dude totally knew what he was doing. Like I listened to like an analysis of it and like certain like sequences where he would take the songs from the films and then like kind of like go into a different character's theme that they created, but like mesh it into a song that we're familiar with and in a way where like he's you know, like going into like a minor chord from what this one song can be like in a major scale, switching it to like a minor scale because this character, you know, is a little darker, a little more, you know,
Just adapting.
or whatever the situation is. I thought the music was great, you know. It's probably my favorite part, you know. But yeah, no, it was cool, dude. I enjoyed it, you know. It is definitely for like a niche pocket of people who just like love Lord of the Rings enough, like me, to go do it.
So do you don't think like a casual Lord of the Rings like enjoyer would be into this?
Yeah, I think they would. You know,
Yeah.
I just in my opinion, I think it would matter of like, do you find anime palatable?
Yeah. I think for the people that don't watch anime, they would see it as like, well, how am I gonna pay to see this in theaters? Like it's
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not like an anime guy. Like I have animes that I like, you know.
That's how I am. Like I like select
Yeah.
couple here and there, but I'm not.
Yeah,
like
like
super
I'm
into
not
it.
I'm not jumping at the opportunity. Like there's people who are super into it to the point like, oh, like One Piece, you know, and I don't know nothing about that, and like it doesn't pique my interest, you know, because at the end of the day, like it always has to kind of like hit like something that I like, you know. For instance, like my favorite anime is Princess Mononoke, right? And I mean, dude, that's like a warrior with like a bow, and it's very fantasy, you know, and that's up my alley. So it's really easy for me to enjoy a movie like that, anime, right? So if someone wants to casually enjoy like a Lord of the Rings movie, but isn't really a fan of anime, I can see them just having like a hard time with it, or not, or appreciating it, you know.
So you would recommend it though?
I would recommend it just so people can check it out for themselves and like enjoy it. Like if you enjoy Lord of the Rings, go watch it because you'll enjoy it. You know, if you're someone like me who has a lot more knowledge based off of like what Tolkien has created in his writings, you might, you know, find things about it that bother you. But in my opinion, it's nowhere near as egregious in like its creative liberties as like the Peter Jackson films. You know. Like for instance,
That's
like
saying something though. I feel like those are just like
yeah, like so for as an example, like you know when Frodo gets stabbed by the Morgul blade,
Yeah.
And then Arwen, Liv Tyler's character, carries him on the horse, you know, and then like
Crosses the
if you want him,
river.
come get him to the Nazgul, you know, that doesn't happen. It's a character named Glorfindel, you know, who has like a vast history, you know. So like they totally changed that for the sake of the movie because they have to drive that love story between her and
They had to adapt it to where it works for the movie.
exactly because the way that you have to translate that in those types of arcs.
Yeah.
So I didn't think they did anything as egregious, you know. But people would have to figure it out for themselves. But I would recommend it. You know, I had a great time. You know.
That's what's up.
No, I'll definitely watch it for sure.
Yeah, I think you would like it, dude.
Yeah.
I really do. And if anything, it makes me want to go back and watch like some of the Ralph Bakshi stuff that they did, like the animated that one that I was telling you guys about.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me a lot
I
of that.
still haven't seen the.
I think you would really like it, dude.
Yeah.
I
gotta
really
watch
think
it.
you would like it.
It's streaming on HBO now, I think, or
Yeah.
somewhere. So
Yeah, they have. I think both that one and The Hobbit.
The Hobbit. It's been on something. But yeah, I need to watch the Lord of the Ring ones.
Yeah, I think you would like it, dude.
I'll check it out.
What the hell?
Kukui.
I know, dude. So, Nosferatu.
Yep. It was cool.
Moving on.
No, so I've become, I guess, bitter towards remakes. Where I'm sick of it. I'm just like, dude, I'm like tired of all these remakes. Like, and especially like lately, it's just been. It feels like that's all there is that's coming out. It's just remakes or like reimaginings or whatever, you know. And it's just like, dude, but the fact that it was Robert Eggers doing this Nosferatu
Made you
remake,
interested.
it made me very interested. And then the cast announced made me very interested. And I've never seen the original, like the 1922.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like the Symphony of Horror. I've never seen it. And then there's the Werner Herzog one, right? Which one came out, the 70s?
1979.
Yeah, I've never seen that one either. And then there was that one with Willem Dafoe.
The Shadows of Vampire.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. And then I have this one called Vampire, which is kind of an offshoot of it too. Because I mean, from what I know is Nosferatu is like an unofficial Dracula adaptation.
Yeah, it's literally the same story, just names were changed and like
Bram Stoker.
Yeah, and instead of going to England, they go to Germany.
Yeah.
The director from the original 1922 one, he wanted to get the rights, but they just wouldn't give it to him.
Yeah.
So he just changes the name instead of Dracula. His
Count
name
Orlok.
isn't Nosferatu; it's Count Orlok.
Yeah.
Nosferatu, it's like Romanian for like sinful one or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Something weird. But yeah, so they just changed like everyone's names, but it's for the most part the similar story.
Yeah, but they came after him though.
Yeah.
He had a production company that he created with the idea to do more, but because of like the lawsuit that he had gotten himself into because of all that, because it's like literally the same story.
Yeah.
Literally,
And-
like beat for beat.
And I know that the original like film, it was like burned or something.
No, they said they wanted to have all the copies destroyed because it's a copy, but because it had done so well and had circulated so far, it was just impossible to get rid of
Yeah.
all the copies. So like in the
few
U.S., like
survived,
do we, you know, have you guys looked into some of the stuff from Robert Eggers, like how this was something of like a passion project for him?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, he's been playing it for years, and he I saw an interview where he's talking about it, how he did like a play for it, and
Yeah.
it was definitely a passion project, and it took him like 3 movies to kind of prove that I can do this.
Yeah, because he didn't want to do it right away because the opportunity presented to have it be like his first film, and he wanted to mature as a director. But what's cool though, because in an interview that I listened to, He was talking about how when he was 9 years old, that was the first time he'd ever been turned on to it. But he stumbled across a VHS that had a copy that was rendered from like a 16 millimeter tape. So it came out so much darker and grittier. And that was his exposure to it. And I guess like he became obsessed about it. And then like later down the line, he had seen the restored version. And he, I guess in his words, he was saying like in that version, you can see like the seam of like the bald cap, like really well and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, this is not good. Mm-hmm. And it was that darker, grittier version that just looked so like convincing and menacing, and utilized that as his point of reference for this one. So I was like, damn, like makes me really want to like check this out, dude.
And I know he shot it on 60 millimeter, and it was also like the lighting was like candles, dude.
Yeah,
he didn't use like any spotlights. Or
yeah,
anything,
there's a lot of natural lighting.
Yeah, I heard it was like that was intentional.
Yeah, insane amount of work that went into this film. But yeah, it was a passion project, and it. Are you familiar with like all his other movies? Have you seen them all?
I haven't finished The
other
Witch.
3?
I've never seen The Lighthouse. But I love The Northman. I love The Northman, dude.
So yeah, the first 2 indie films that he had full control over. When he got to The Northman, that was his first big budget. Like it was a huge jump from The Lighthouse. Mm-hmm. Huge budget, but of course with bigger budget, less control. And he hated the process because the studios were telling him, you need to do this, you need to change that, you need to do this. And he didn't have the
freedom, the liberty to do what to engage in his vision.
Because his idea for that movie, it was gonna be a lot more artsy. But studios were like, no, you need to get rid of this, add more of this and that.
Because this is what makes money.
Yeah, pretty much.
This
It's
is
like
what
we
puts
need to
butts
make
in
sure we get
seats.
our
Yeah.
money back. So he even said like he didn't have the best time making that movie.
Which is crazy to think because like
It's amazing.
dude,
Yeah,
that's a fucking awesome movie.
Yeah, but a lot of people consider it the weakest, which is weird because it's my favorite film of his, and it made its money back, but it didn't make as much as they had projected.
The studio or
The studio,
Oh, okay.
for the movie. So I think it was Focus, something, the company that had
Focus Features?
yeah, had gave him the money to make that movie. As far as I know, it's the first time that it's happened because I've heard other people talk about it. They owned up and they said, you know what? Maybe it's not the director. Maybe it was us interfering with his vision. Because all these other movies did fucking great, and this one didn't get the feedback it should have. So they reached out to him and said, "We'll budget your next film, and it'll be fully your control."
hands off, like off leash. Oh,
And
dude.
that's where Nosferatu came in. They produced it, they did everything, and they let him have complete control over it.
So so in his mind he's like, say less.
Yeah, and if you watching Nosferatu, like he takes a little bit of each movie, like everything he's learned from those 3 films, and puts it into that movie, you know. And to me, a movie is astonishing, dude.
Yeah, like I've heard so many. I mean, because I haven't seen it yet. I plan on doing it. I showed Alexis the trailer, and it piqued her interest, and then she saw somebody that she knows like praise it, saying, "Oh, go watch it." So we're gonna plan a date night to go do that. But like, dude, I'm super into vampire movies, you know, and like Nosferatu is super dope, right? So I'm super looking forward to it. I'm interested to see like the finished product because like I've like read about it and like tried to familiarize myself with some of like what to expect, you know. So like the way that they're trying they I guess in this movie they kind of lean into like Orlok being more of like a decaying corpse.
Yes.
You know, and like to me, that's fucking awesome, dude. That's so brilliant. Like, because I mean, we're so familiar with like the Dracula character being
like some
suave,
handsome guy.
exactly, and then you know, having it be like this corpse, like you know, like for instance, like I remember like seeing where somebody was talking about like he has pointed ears, but they're not pointed because like that's how his ears look. They're pointed because like
It looks like rats.
they're like rotting
Yeah.
into these points, you know, And I think that's just like a dope like detail for that character. You know, so it's super piquing my interest.
It is the first time we see a Nosferatu character like that. Because he is kind of a creature in all of them. But this one's like the first time where he's like he's pretty big.
Yeah.
And,
Really?
And he comes off as like evil, dude. Like he just oozes evil.
Yeah, so like Robert Eggers has said like himself that he wanted to make vampires scary again.
Yeah.
Because they've in like Hollywood media they've turned them into like these things where it's like, yeah, they do these evil acts, but there's like that heart that they still have, you know. They still have that compassion. They're kind of human still, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, and like what drew him to to like Bram Stoker's Dracula was that like he was evil.
Yeah.
And then or Nosferatu, I should say. And it's just funny because like I've been seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, like Nosferatu is cool, but have people not seen Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula? And it's like, do you not realize like that movie, like the book is based off of is like Nosferatu is an adaptation of that book.
Yeah. It was the first adaptation.
Yeah.
Right? Like it does that because that predates Bela Lugosi playing Dracula, correct?
Yeah. Because Nosferatu, the original, 1922,
right?
And then the book, I believe it was like 1897.
Yeah.
Was when it was
so like a
published.
30-ish year difference.
It's crazy, dude, because that book, it didn't do well until after the death.
Yeah.
It became a bestseller afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy that like that's still like the definitive like thing that everyone goes back to whenever they're making a vampire or getting any type of lore. Like that's where it still comes from. Like it hasn't gone that far. It hasn't strayed away too much. You know?
No. Yeah. I mean the Coppola one is. I mean,
That one's awesome too.
bro, like that's.
The best way I can describe this new movie is across if the movie Possession and the Bram Stoker's Dracula had a baby.
Bram Stoker.
Stroker,
dude.
Pause.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, because a lot of people were comparing.
I've never
this.
seen Possession, so I don't really quite get.
There's a line that they steal from that movie. Edgar said that Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Stoker's,
and Possession were his biggest influences. So of course you're gonna get like a lot of that,
Like nods.
yeah,
You know,
But
Easter
there's-
eggs, if you
There's
will.
a line from Possession that is straight up like lifted from that as a nod to like, hey, like that movie was a big influence for this,
Got it.
because this does lean more like heavy into the possession thing,
Yeah.
more than any other Nosferatu movie.
That's what that's what they made it seem like a lot more like fantasy based rather than like a horror film. It's more of like a gothic fantasy in a way.
Yeah, it's kind of a romance movie in a
Yeah.
weird way. I don't think this movie was scary at all.
Yeah, cool. I mean, scary, but that's subjective. Though.
Yeah.
You know, like if
But-
you don't find it scary, then you're not gonna. You know, but like it seems like the overall, like yes, it's dark, but that doesn't necessarily mean scary.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's still a horror movie, but I think it's a horror movie that's like heavily like, it's still a period piece.
Yeah.
That has romance in it, and it just has like scary themes and, you know, this like creature monster thing.
I didn't think it was scary either, but I will say like Bill Skarsgård as Orlok, he was very good at like being menacing.
Yeah.
Just his presence, his voice.
I heard
His voice alone.
I heard a little bit because I mean they're only because they have a tight grip on like the copyright stuff, so there's not a lot to come across. So like even like the reviews and stuff that I've checked out, they're just going off of what is available to us through the trailers. But there's snippets that they showed, and like there was like a small little part where he's talking to where Orlok is talking to I can't remember the name. but like what would have essentially been like Keanu Reeves' character in the Coppola one, and it you can hear his voice, and I was like, holy shit,
And that's Bill Skarsgård's voice.
So then I had to look into it, and evidently like he was like he took some training to learn how to speak in a lower octave, but also familiarize himself with Mongolian throat singing.
Yeah.
And kind of combined those two disciplines to produce this particular voice.
Yeah.
And like, I guess like the only time they ever did any type of like studio magic to it is like a couple occasions where he had to like yell because he couldn't do it in that lower register. So they just had to adjust that in post, you know? But like, dude, like from what I heard, I was like, dude, that is how you do it. Like that is how you make that Count Dracula in the castle. Like that's how you make him sound, you know? So that it sounds dope.
Yeah, and so the 1922 and the 79 Herzog one, you see him. You see, he has like I guess an entrance or like the way he's revealed is pretty cool. But you get to see him before you even see him speak and everything. So you're just kind of like in awe, like, oh shit, okay, this is what he looks like and all that. So I like that they did something different here where he's kind of out of focus and he's kind of in the shadows. So he has to rely on his voice.
Yeah.
And because you don't see him, you focus on his voice more.
To where the voice kind of becomes a character in itself. Got it.
And I feel like the voice plays such an important part because it is just as important as his image. It is very much a part of him. And whereas like, of course, like the first one was a silent film, so you don't have to worry about that.
You just get to read like, oh, your wife has a really lovely neck.
Yeah. Yeah. And the 79 one it's totally different Nosferatu.
Because it's not even Count Orlok. He's Dracula.
In the
Herzog version.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he doesn't go by Count Orlok, he goes by Dracula. Like all the characters from
you got Jonathan Harker,
Bram
Lucy
Strokers.
Yeah. Get it right, dude. And the both you can't even really compare them because they're so different from each other and but I feel like this adaptation is as close to what Dracula is supposed to look like compared to the book. Because like in any other movie, they either make him like this like super creature thing or like a handsome person, you know, like Gary Oldman's character and all that. But this is like
what I liked about Gary Oldman's portrayal of that, or in that movie, like there's many forms.
Yeah.
So like there's different vampires that you get.
Yeah, but they're all completely different from the book. I think even for that movie, they got like
well, the book describes them very differently, and like the way the book's written, it's like a lot of different like journal entries. Like and like that's how that story is portrayed in the book. So like it's like you're reading the description of how Dracula looks from the perspective of somebody writing it in their journal. You know, and like the way they describe like eyebrows being so long that they kind of converge like to like the bridge of his nose and stuff like that. Like it's a completely different take on what we've been exposed to through film thus far.
Yeah, and like I feel like this is the closest we've ever gotten to like that adaptation.
Dope.
So like I thought that was dope. There's one thing that bugged me.
I think I know what it is because
I know it bugged a lot of people, and I know why it was there. A part of me kind of likes it, a part of me hates it, and I'm so like I'm right in the middle, dude.
Is it spoiler friendly here on this one, or because I mean I don't mind.
Okay, I don't care.
What do you think I'm talking about?
Is it a physical feature?
Yeah.
Okay. The mustache.
I think
the mustache. It distracted
It threw me off. It threw me off.
It threw me off too, but to me it was just too distracting.
At first, yeah, I'll agree with that. But I think, I don't know, I got used to it. But at first I was just like, oh no, I don't like that.
I just feel like I was too focused on it where I feel like Bill Skarsgård is like such a handsome guy. Like even with all that makeup, he still would have been like the girls would have been drooling over him. So I feel like that mustache did make him look a little more disgusting.
Maybe that's why he added the mustache.
Yeah,
because you could not tell that was
Do
him.
you think at all though? Because like when you think about like the legend or whatever of like Count Dracula, Vlad the Impaler, you know,
it definitely
like do you think that like they leaned into that maybe in a way to kind of honor that?
Yeah, maybe.
Because
yeah.
I mean because Vlad the Impaler is
Had the
portrayed
thick
with,
mustache.
and that was like a very like
in the book.
normal thing for people of
era.
that status in that era, you know. So maybe like that
Yeah,
Maybe.
but I mean, it's in the book. Like Dracula has a fucking thick mustache in the book,
was okay.
so like it makes sense. Like I know why it's in there, but to me it just felt a little too distracting. And it's like
Because you're not used to it. Because like every other adaptation and even every other like portrayal of a vampire in other in
like
other
Gary
show,
Oldman when he has his mustache, it's like neat and like clean shaved, kind of. You know,
yeah.
like
But even before that, like when he is in his castle, like going over like the real estate stuff,
Yeah.
like he has that. I mean, it's not full Nosferatu, but he has that pale, clean shaven,
Yeah.
like kind of decrepit look to him. But I mean, like even like in What We Do in the Shadows movie, like you know
you get the
you get that Orlok
it makes sense with the
image
time
with
and-
no mustache.
yeah. It makes time. It makes sense with the whole timing and everything, and it does make him look more disgusting.
Yeah.
It's like a thick mustache, and
Yeah.
he doesn't have like a beard or anything. It's just like a thick mustache,
Like
so-
a White Earp style type mustache.
Yeah.
yeah. Just imagine that, like
Really?
he didn't ever combed it, and it was just-
Really?
so it's pretty. Yeah, it's you can't not focus on it. Like it takes you a while, like to
Yeah.
and
It draws your attention
Yeah.
like to it more. So do you? Obviously, the first time you see Orlok, you see the mustache. So
Yeah.
does like your attention immediately go to that? Like did it for
his
you guys?
face is a little out of focus, and he's kind of in the dark, but you notice it even then.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh shit, does he have a mustache? I think what throws me off too is like he's pretty like bald everywhere else too.
And it's
So-
like thick.
Yeah, so it is a little distracting. Like if he had like, I don't know, like a lot of hair, because in even in the book, like they describe his hands as being his palms being hairy, like he just has hair like all over, like he's like almost like a werewolf type, you know. But they just decided like on a thick mustache. But I don't. Maybe like on second watch it'll grow on me. But
I got used to it.
yeah.
Yeah, like at first it did like catch me off guard, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then every time they did show him, I was focused on it. But after a while, I was just like, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah, and I think because I love the 79 version so much that Klaus Kinski, who played Nosferatu in that one, his eyes did a lot of the acting.
Right.
Because he didn't, you know, he doesn't smile, he's not frowning, he does a lot of like eye movement, and like I in my head I kind of wanted to see more of that here. But because you get close-ups of him here and there, but you never get those like facial like close-ups where you're just
Yeah.
like okay, this is what's going on through his head, because he talks so much that he just expresses himself, and like he's loud and stuff. But that was like the only nitpick I have of like his character.
Yeah.
Other than that, his voice, like everything else, like the way he dresses, the way he looks, like the way, like you mentioned, like his body's like kind of decaying. It looks like fucking like rats chew on him.
Yeah.
while he's
Yeah, like
sleeping.
one of the people like that I was listening to describe, because they make it seem like that he had been like in a sarcophagus for at least a century. So like the back of him looks so much more decrepit than
He has like a comb over, dude.
yeah, like than his frontal, because of him having laid in that coffin, decaying for so long.
It almost looks like, you know, when people in hospitals are just in bed, they get those bed sores.
Yeah.
Like the back of his head, like has like those giant blister and openings and shit.
Yeah.
And you get like little glimpses of it in the movie. And I'm glad that he is in the shadows through most of the movie and stuff, because it kind of like built up. Like you want to see more of him, and
Yeah.
he is. I mean, from the in the very beginning, I knew like he was gonna steal every scene he's in, and of course he does.
Yeah.
But dude, everyone does a good job.
That's it.
Every fucking and the one character I was like iffy on was what's her name? The main
Lily Rose Depp.
I loved her in it, dude.
All right, so
Wait.
Pee break.
So, Lily Rose Depp. When I saw her in that show, The Idol, which is a terrible show, I saw it. I saw the potential. I was like, you know what? She's good. But this script is fucking terrible, and everybody else around her is terrible. I was like, but if she has the right script, right director with her, she can show
In the right like chemistry with
Yeah.
like co-stars and stuff.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so when I saw that she was cast in this, and I was like, oh, okay, Robert Eggers, he's gonna bring it out in her. And watching her in this movie, dude, she blew me away.
I hear that people are saying like if she doesn't at least get nominated.
She's got to win, dude.
Okay.
Like, to me, yes, Bill Skarsgård stole every scene he was in, just as much as she did, in my opinion. Like the way she was able to like contort her body and like convulse her body and like her facial expressions during like the possession scenes is like no CGI was used, and it was just fucking nuts. And her immediate change in emotion and like throughout like you know the scene I'm talking about, right? Like where she has sex with her husband. Just her change in emotion, just like at the drop of a pin, is fucking insane.
Yeah, dude. Because she's playing kind of like two characters, herself, and then like the possessed version of herself. That's like
okay.
under like Nosferatu's like curse, you know, and yeah, just from her like switching it up like in a dime, dude. Insane, dude.
Interesting.
It's insane how well acted she. You know, like I did not expect it.
Interesting.
Because
I know that like Anya Taylor-Joy, right?
So yeah, originally it was gonna be Anya Taylor-Joy and Bill Skarsgård, and then
And Bill Skarsgård was gonna play.
Nicholas Holt's
Yeah.
character, and then I guess something happened where like this like
Because it got delayed and like maybe
It kept getting delayed.
and like she just since nothing happened.
well she got
became
busy.
busy,
She
yeah.
got busy, and but Bill Skarsgård, he was like one of the first ones cast, and then it switched from him playing Nicholas Holt's character to him playing Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. And then that kind of like another delay happened. And then Harry Styles got put on, and Anya Taylor-Joy was still on. So it was going to be Harry Styles and Anya Taylor-Joy. And then that's when the scheduling conflicts happened. And then when Bill Skarsgård came back, he was like, okay, like who am I playing? Because the character that he was initially going to play as Nicholas Holt already got cast in that part. And then Aaron Taylor Johnson got cast. So Robert Eggers told him like, well, what about Orlok? And he was just like, are you fucking serious? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally the guy for this.
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know they went through that many changes.
But I'm so glad Harry Styles was not in this movie, because I've seen him in Dunkirk and in Don't Worry, Darling, and he is not a good actor. He is not a good actor at all.
That's funny.
Yeah, but dude, everyone brings their A game, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Willem Dafoe, dude. Why? Like, how is he so good in everything, dude?
And plus, I
Like, how?
yeah, I know. And then plus, like when you think about, because he played the vampire in Shadow of the Vampire, right? So he had that Orlok, you know.
Yeah.
So he's like familiar, right? So I can imagine like him having like a perspective like on his character he's playing in this movie that like because he's not playing Orlok.
He's playing like it was a mixture of Van Helsing and a different character combined.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's playing Van Helsing's like character basically, but like the names changed in this in this particular story.
Yeah, because I think they made like all new characters and they combined some of it and they added a few other ones too.
Yeah.
Like, so they changed a couple things on it, but dude, he was fucking good, dude. Like he was kind of funny too.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I heard, that there's like subtle like
very subtle.
like comedic moments from his character and his performance.
The part that made me laugh is when the guy bit the pigeon's head off.
Oh.
And he's like, Now why would you do that?
Yeah, dude. Like there's a, but it doesn't take away from anything, and it's not like they're like I don't know. It's a weird type. It's kind of like almost like the Lighthouse kind of comedy.
Mm.
Did you say you watched it or no?
No, that one I
Okay,
haven't seen.
It's kind of a similar type, like where it's like, should I kind of be laughing at this or not? Like,
It's almost kind of campy.
Yeah, because I mean, I hear like people talk about like the farts, like
Lighthouse.
in Lighthouse.
Mhm. It sounds stupid, dude, but when you watch it, it makes total sense, dude. Like it's just a fart, dude, but it's fucking hilarious.
Well, farts are funny.
Yeah, but no, like it's dumb, like in a weirdly, like in a tasteful way. Like it's so weird to explain, dude.
Like the farts taste good.
Yeah, they're bomb, dude. But his character, like he plays like this over the top because you have this fucking weird character Nosferatu, and you have all these other people that don't believe in that shit. They're like, the fuck, like that doesn't exist, like that's not real. And you have this character who like
who's their background is in medicine, right?
Medicine, and he got kind of shooed away from that because of his beliefs and
in the external like
the whole like, alchemy stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so nobody really believes him, and
because they think it's like, you know, next level, like
you're just this crazy old guy.
yeah, exactly.
And
the conspiracy theorist type, you know.
yeah, and he plays that character so well because
Really?
he's just like so upfront about it. Like, no, we're dealing with Nosferatu, the vampire, and like he just delivers it like that. But like with his character, it makes sense, dude.
Because like and like I mean, it's hard to not want to draw a comparison to Anthony Hopkins, right? Because it's the same character. That's the same role basically, right? And I feel like that's how Anthony Hopkins' character in that film was, you know, like this doctor who had this belief in like the supernatural, if you will. And people thought that he was
Just some crazy.
why would you even, you know, consider that? So in your opinion, like if you were to compare, like does William Dafoe's portrayal of this particular character, like is it different? Is it similar? Is it better?
It's similar, but I do think it leans more into like almost like campiness with his character. But it's not done campy. Like if that makes sense.
Like it's still a serious.
It's almost like it's a theatrical play. Like you're
Got
watching.
it. Got it.
That's
Like
the best way I
more
can explain it.
expressive, like with the movements and stuff. You mean like?
Yeah,
Because he comes off like kind of like grand,
So very like flamboyant.
in all sort of, but not like you said, like it doesn't take away from like the ground and like the seriousness of everybody.
Right,
else.
because it's grounded in like there's an illness going around, like there's a plague situation, you know, like.
and his character just works because he is serious. The way he delivers his lines is kind of like theatrical, but it makes sense with him because you do buy that, like, oh, it's just the crazy old guy who fucking
He's kooky.
Yeah, but it's because he's passionate about it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and he's very serious too. And
Got it.
He's really he is devoted to helping them. And
Yeah, like
you know,
he seems like he's being extra, but that's just because like he's very much
he's
like,
aware of what's going on.
Yeah,
and
very
he-
aware, very convicted.
Yeah.
like with speaking with this conviction on this matter.
Yeah.
Got it.
And also like Nicholas Hoult, dude, like he plays the role being terrified so well, dude.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring that up because like his whole first meeting with Orlok, you see it in him, and he's like kind of like, "Whoa, this is weird," and it gradually builds up to him just like
And you see
like
that, dude.
shaking and his eyes like widening and like the terror in his voice, like
Well,
it's
'cause
so good.
He does that thing where like he's like looking straight into the camera, his eyes are like teary, and he's just like in shock, like in total fear, and his eyes are like just shaking, like his pupils are kind of shaking, dude. Amazing, dude.
You know, it's funny you say that because there's times when I see actors or actresses do that, and I'm like, damn, like it's convincing, you know. But then there's other occasions where people lean into it too much, and I'm like,
Yeah,
like for instance, I mean, not because of like in Rings of Power, right? Just as because of relevant, right?
Yeah.
The Galadriel character, like she does it all. The actress does it all the time, and it's so like forced in my opinion, you know. And I hate how that looks sometimes. So like when it happens, I'm like, really, you know. So I'm interested to see, based off what you're telling me, like how that adds to the scene to amplify like the terror that this person, because like how we're saying, like to make vampires scary again, right?
Yeah.
Because like when you think about Interview the Vampire, there's this motherfucker who sits down with a vampire. You know what I mean? Like a human sitting with a vampire wanting to take notes and ask questions and shit like that. Like that shouldn't be something that anyone wants to do.
Yeah.
Realistically, like you should want to not and do that at all. Like keep your distance, like and vanquish this demonic being. You know,
you feel that in this movie because there is a scene where he has to sit down with him and go over like contracts, and you could tell he just does not want to be there. It's the atmosphere is so uneasy, and it just keeps building and building and building, and you just like you're like, where the fuck is this gonna go? Like, what's gonna happen? And you're just waiting for that like explosion to come, and like, what the fuck is gonna happen? But dude, I can't think of any character that I was like, ugh.
What other movies has he done?
Who?
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult.
He was Beast.
He's Beast. That's
X-Men,
right.
yeah.
That's right. And he's gonna play Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
He was also in The Menu.
He's in The Menu.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Mad
but yeah,
Max, Fury Road.
Oh, that's right.
I haven't seen that.
He's one of the War Boys.
You haven't seen Fury Road? Phew, dude.
Oh,
Really?
dude.
I've never seen Mad Max.
Greatest action movie in the past like 20 years.
Shut up, dude.
No, I'm not. It's not even just me, dude. People like praise that movie to being. They say what came out in the 70s? I can't remember what movie. But anyways, like they say the last action movie that was like this was Die Hard, and now it's like Fury Road takes that mantle.
No, dude, Fury Road is an excellent movie.
Really?
It's beautiful. It's like intense. Like you got to watch it.
Okay, I gotta check it out. Cause I mean, like I don't know, like I've never seen Mad Max.
I don't think you need to.
Because that's what I'm saying. But like I never had like an interest in it. Looks goofy to me because Mad Max looks goofy to me, at least, you know. Because like I mean, when you think about like it's post-apocalyptic, right? Like Waterworld, that's a goofy ass fucking movie, dude.
Oh yeah, that's
You know what I mean? So like my like so I guess predisposition on this, you know, is like it just seems goofy, but like
Yeah, I mean,
This
it's
piques my
pretty
interest now.
outlandish, dude, but it's done like really serious and good. Because like I mean, it's just one long car chase, pretty much. But you have like these characters called War Boys. They have like face makeup. They have like, you know, during wartime they would have the drummer boy. And this one they have like this whole fucking like big truck with like drummers, and they have a guy with a fucking guitar with like a flamethrower attached to it.
oh
playing.
dude, that's
It's
metal.
tight, dude. It's tight. But anyways, yeah, dude, this movie it had a different ending from the others.
Really?
And I had mentioned to Fidel like before we saw it, I'm like, I'm curious to how it's gonna end, because you have the classic ending from the 1922. You have the ending from the 79 version, and I was like, how are they gonna end this one, dude? And I think it was a fucking great ending.
Really? I'm interested to see that. Don't tell me
No,
about
I'm not
that.
gonna
Yeah,
tell you
don't
the
spoil
ending,
that
no.
for me. That I want to see.
No, I think that it's really well done. I like that in this movie he doesn't bite necks. He bites like their fucking heart.
Yeah, he goes straight for the chest.
Chest, yeah.
Oh, that's wild. I mean, that makes sense though.
Yeah, it makes more sense than neck. I mean, the necks you have
Well, because you have like
arteries and stuff.
those major arteries, but like I don't know, like that's
And it sounds
scary.
the sound of like him feasting on. Oh, it just sounds gross.
crazy.
It's just like it's like, damn, what the fuck?
damn, that was hot.
Yeah, dude. I think most people. I have heard a lot of people say that they were kind of let down by it. I've heard people praising it. I haven't heard anyone say it was bad, but people were praising it. And people were just saying like, oh, but I don't think people were familiar with it. They expect like a typical vampire movie, where like one of the complaints is like he doesn't kill that many people, and I'm like, you missed the whole fucking point of the movie. And
Yeah, because it wasn't about that. Like,
Yeah.
no, I mean, he kills more people in this one than in the other ones.
oh, okay.
And there's some brutal scenes, dude. Like
Yeah.
there's some
Really?
brutal scenes, yeah. And
Hell yeah.
compared to the other ones, and I think it is the darkest, kinda. I think the 79 has the darkest ending, and I fucking love it. It does not end on a. It's from the 70s, dude. Of course, it's not
Yeah.
gonna end on a happy note. But it is the darkest, I think, out of it, and he is at his most evil in this. Because the 79 version, I prefer that one still. I think that one's always gonna be the definitive for me, like the definitive Dracula movie. Like, I love that movie, beginning to end. I think visually, you can't surpass that movie.
Really?
I think Orlok's character in that one is the best out of any vampire movie because he plays like this like tormented character where he's almost like fragile in a weird way. Like he doesn't come off as evil in that sense.
Like he's not menacing.
He's not. He's creepy looking, and you can tell like he does come across as like kind of terrifying the way he looks. He does look like he looks scary, but the way he talks, it's like so poetic and like, but he's still very animalistic too. He still has his claws, his ears.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, dude.
It's
I've seen
striking,
the
dude.
original. I've never seen the Herzog one.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I love the visuals in that one. But it's like Herzog. The original movie was made like during wartime, and there was a lot of diseases going around. And here comes like this fucking German director that made this movie
With a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, and oh yeah,
Because Klaus is like he's like a piece of shit, right? Like
he is considered. There's like documentaries on him.
yeah, dude. Like
Considered,
he was like diagnosed with like antisocial personality disorder. Like
He was hard to work with.
yeah, and like and then his daughter came out with like a memoir, like talking about how he like was like molesting her and stuff. Like
He's
shit.
crazy, dude.
yeah, like
And-
he's like a terrible person.
And I guess him and Herzog hated each other, dude. They
Yeah.
fucking hated.
I was listening to that earlier, dude, and like they had worked on several movies together
A lot of
that
movies.
they got super high praise. Like the guy's like a brilliant actor,
Yeah.
from what I understand, but he's just like a complete nightmare.
Yeah, dude.
Like physically, physical altercations, like strangling, like
There was a movie that they worked on where like they had like this tribe that he was
Yeah,
just
dude.
being a piece of shit to, and the tribe told Herzog like, dude, we'll kill him.
we'll kill him for you, and he's like, no, leave him to me.
Yeah.
And I guess he intentionally put them in a scene where he's eating, and they're watching him. They're filling the room watching him eat, but like the anger that they have on their faces are real because they fucking hated this guy because he's a utter piece of shit.
Yeah, dude. But brilliant
Crazy.
actor.
That's what I'm saying. That's wild to me. Like I
But-
guess that's one of the like when you have that conversation of separating the art from the artist, kind of thing.
Yeah, dude. So there's actually a sequel to that 79 Nosferatu that came out like a few years later. Different directors, different makers. It's called Nosferatu in Venice.
Oh yeah.
And this guy was so hard to work with that people don't even consider that a real sequel. He didn't want to put the bald cap on. He didn't want to put the ears.
because you want to sit through the hours of makeup,
Yeah.
and like where he would say things like no, you don't tell me action, you don't tell me cut. I start when I'm ready and I finish when I'm done.
Yeah, dude. So
Jesus
So
Christ.
if you look at him, it's just some guy that has like long hair and he just has fangs and he's like Nosferatu.
Yeah,
So people are like,
he has like long fucking hair.
yeah, he looks funky, dude. Like,
Yeah, he looks like Rod Stewart, like with
Yeah,
Nosferatu
dude.
fangs.
yeah, dude. Totally different. Doesn't. Yeah. It's not a sequel.
Have
dude.
you seen it all? Excuse me. I was telling Fidel about this. That Doug Jones portrays Orlok in a recent Nosferatu film that came out this year, like just recently.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, evidently, like it's a shot for shot, right? Different look to Orlok. Doug Jones plays him. It's not a silent film, but like it's all done in front of a green screen, and they impose the original film in the background on the green screen, but they're doing like a recreation shot for shot of the acting.
No, and then
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet myself either.
That sounds cool though.
Yeah, but dude, it piqued my interest. Like I was telling Fidel that I heard like on a podcast, and Doug Jones was the guest talking about it, and they made it sound really interesting.
That sounds cool.
So it came out. I actually came out November 11th of last year.
November 11th of last year. Oh,
I
okay.
have not heard anyone talk about this movie.
Me neither. But
Yeah, me either.
It's called Nosferatu: A Symphony of Fear.
A Symphony of Fear. Yeah,
That sounds cool.
yeah. It's basically this, like I said, like a shot for shot, same exact thing, but
Yeah, dude. But yeah, anyways, going back to that 79 version, it ends on such a dark note, dude. And I'm always like gonna lean towards that.
really,
It just cause like, yeah, it does not have a happy ending at all. And you're just like, fuck, dude. Like all this horrible shit happened, and like at the end, like
nothing good happened.
yeah, nothing good comes out of it. Even Van Helsing, after he kills Nosferatu, he gets arrested for killing the guy because they don't believe him.
That's right. Yeah.
And like, so he doesn't have a happy ending. Lucy's character dies, and then what's his name? Jonathan Harker's character becomes a vampire, and you see the badass fucking shot of him riding off in a horse on a beach, and that's like the ending. You get a long shot of him just riding off into the fucking sunset, dude.
That's cute.
It's tight, dude. But one thing that movie does better than I think than the Eggers one, when he brings the plague, it is fucking crazy in the 79 version.
Really?
There's so many fucking rats in that one, way more than what is pictured here, and it's done more gross. Like it's done way grosser. And my favorite shot of that movie is this long shot of like Lucy's character. Like this is after the plague has already like killed so many people. The people that live in that town kind of all meet up in the town square, and they're like at that point where like we're all gonna die. Like let's just enjoy this final night together. And they're playing music, they're eating this big fucking feast, and they're dancing. Everyone just looks fucking crazy. Like they know that the end, like it's inevitable. And she's like walking through this, like it almost looks like a dream sequence. And there's like, you don't hear anything. You just hear like this fucking score playing, and it's a beautiful score. And she's just walking around, a big wide shot of everyone just dancing, eating, all while the rats everywhere, dude. And you get this cool shot of like people having like, it almost looks like the Last Supper. Everyone's just eating, beautiful fucking centerpieces of food and all kinds. But you have like this, like 100 rats on the table, on the ground, crawling all over the food, all over them. Fucking beautiful, dude. And then out of nowhere, like just in a second, it just cuts to the table being empty, and it's just surrounded by rats, and everything being empty, like to show that like the end, you know. Crazy shot, dude, and it is the most powerful shot in that movie. And I remember when I first watched it in high school, it stuck with me, dude. The score stuck with me. That scene stuck with me. Beautiful movie. I think it might be a little harder to get into because it is a lot, like, I guess, more of a slow burn than Edgar's version. And because it's not as, like, I don't know, like...
exciting?
Yeah, I guess. Like, you really have to be into, like, art films to really appreciate it and like it. But I do think The Plague was done a lot better in that. And this one, it kind of feels like... To me, it kind of felt like it was kind of in the background.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Like it was there because it needed to be
I even forgot
there?
about it at point.
Yeah, because and in the 79 version, you get them when they're doing like the autopsies, and they're like they don't want to touch them. They're like covering their faces, like oh, it's a plague. Like go home, tell your family. And you do get like scenes in the Eggers where they're carrying the coffins around and stuff like that. But I feel like it's more in the background.
Yeah,
where
it's not as prominent.
Yeah, and you're kind of like thinking, is it a plague or is it like Nosferatu's like curse, like killing everyone? You kind of wondering, but it's not done bad, but not like it wasn't as flushed out as I wanted it to be.
It didn't have as much of like a frontal view.
You don't get that feeling of like the impending doom that's gonna come, you know, like with all those rats and stuff.
Yeah, because you're either gonna get like eaten by a vampire or you're gonna be consumed by the plague.
Yeah, dude. But I love this movie. I'm definitely gonna buy it, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy it.
Yeah,
Dope.
it's dope. I think anybody would get a kick out of it, and I don't think anybody would hate it. I think it might not be for everyone.
So let's just say for someone who's never seen like a Dracula vampire movie like that, right?
I think they'll enjoy it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because I mean, you get a little bit of everything. You get the tension, the beautiful atmosphere. It does have its gory scenes.
What about the music?
Music's good, dude.
Who do you know who's the composer?
I don't know who did the music for this one, but yeah, it's like, man, it reminds me like how like when Nosferatu is talking in this movie, I feel like all the volume and everything else goes down, and his like they really put his voice in the forefront, and
Like he
it
peeks,
sounds
he
tight.
appears through the mix like better.
Yeah, you could tell they push it forward and
Damn, that's crazy. Like as if it plays its own character.
for sure. And I do think they did his shadow work. His shadows are always important. Like I think.
Well, I mean that's been important since the original film.
Yeah, because you get like, but in this one, like I feel like his shadow does it. It's kind of like the Bram Stoker one. No, because like you do get to see it like it's kind of a character of its own too.
Yeah.
You get like these cool shots of like the curtains moving and you see his shadow and like it's just always, and you get like the coolest shot that I think out of the movie is it's in the trailer. It's when his hand is just over the
yeah.
town.
Oh yeah.
It's just hovering over the town. It just like damn, it looks so sick, dude. And so you do get to see a lot of his like shadow play like in the movie, more so than the other ones.
Really?
Yeah. And,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think it's done brilliantly.
So like there's elements of like the Nosferatu character that's beyond just like what you see in him physically, because his voice kind of has like a prominent part, and then his shadows have a prominent part.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
It's crazy to think that like if they, I mean, like again, I haven't seen it, so but it's crazy to think that like if the shadow and the voice are gonna take such like a big like part that when like the plague wouldn't be as prominent, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's there, but I just feel like it's more so in the background. Maybe they were just trying to flesh out the characters more and
Right.
focus more on that.
Yeah.
But I do think it would have been cooler to see like
It's not like a
more of
focal
that.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it becomes more of a focus in the other films.
Yeah.
Got it.
So the score is provided by British-Irish film composer and music producer Robin Corlin, who made his scoring debut with The Northman.
I can't remember like that score.
I just watched it like maybe like a month ago. It's sick, dude.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Dude, yeah, this guy is 4 for 4 now, dude.
Yeah.
That's
he has
dope.
not done a terrible movie.
But he's only done period pieces though.
Yeah, and
He did.
That's
He
just
just
his
finished
thing,
a
dude.
script, right?
yeah,
For like a medieval one.
yeah, dude. Like I don't think
sign me up, dude.
he is totally invested 100% in the past. Like I don't think he cares to even dive into the future.
Like anything contemporary.
No,
I
don't
would be
think so.
it would be interesting to see like what he would do with that.
Yeah, it just seems like he's just really not interested in it, and maybe he will one day.
He has also expressed interest in doing a Western as well.
Ooh, that would be
And then I
dope.
saw something today about like, oh, he's tapped to do a Labyrinth remake. But I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if that needs one, dude.
Yeah.
And like if they were going to like how like I mean, are you gonna involve like the Jim Henson workshop on that? Like, or are you gonna go like a different avenue?
Dude, that's like, I don't know, man. Like,
Because that's kind of like
I feel
on
like
its own, dude. That's kind of untouchable, bro.
though, yeah, it. I think the only way you'd be able to like do something where it's like, it's not gonna be shitted on, would be to like, do like a Suspiria thing where it's just almost the complete opposite of it. But I don't think so. It's like Back to the Future, dude. Like, how do you touch that?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, 'cause, like we've like say adjacent Dark Crystal, right? They did the Netflix series, which is what like a prequel, right?
Yeah,
But like, I thought that was great.
I think it was amazing.
I thought that
dude.
was dope.
Yeah.
You know, like it was super well done. You know, Like, if
But-
you're not, if he's gonna do something like that, like, you know, like,
But
like how
it
would
has
you
the
do that?
campiness because of the whole David Bowie and the music, and I don't know how you couldn't, dude.
Yeah, I mean, like, and if you were to remake it, like, yeah, like, are you gonna incorporate that music element to it? Is it gonna be
I
not,
think it
not
would
a
be
musical?
a whole different beast and just have the name attached to it. So
Unless they make it like super dark,
that's what I'm
like
saying. Like it would have
super
to be
gritty. Like, I mean, that kind of piques my interest, you know. Different from being like musical and like whimsical at times, you know.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, if you look at the plot of that movie, like, it's pretty grim, you know. Like, David Bowie plays a, you know, human trafficker.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try to watch Nosferatu in theaters, or are you gonna wait?
Oh no, for sure. So we got like gift cards for Yard House. So we're just gonna do like a dinner movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I want to see it in the theater just because, you know, like, it's sick
Yeah.
doing it that way, you know. And like, I would love,
It's definitely gonna add to the experience, dude.
yeah, you know, especially the darkness of it, you know. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that, you know,
'Cause-
and then like the system that they have, like audibly, like with his voice, you know, like,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's just gonna add an element to it rather than waiting for it to, you know,
Yeah.
If you can, try watching it in Dolby.
really.
Yeah.
I imagine so. They have that over at the AMC, right?
Yeah.
At Tyler.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll just have to look up like times and stuff, like and make it happen because we need to get like, you know, babysitters and stuff. So.
Yeah.